it will be automatically will be I think say it will be help me to doing it to resolve all those issues. I would say that once we're going into the same. So I'm just going to be
Yeah.
sending all those informations one by one. Okay, once we have going to be create the things will be there. So that's what fantastic for you to understanding. I would say that. So yeah,
Mhm.
this is we have phase one we talking about right now and project initiates. You can see that. That's the things right now we have talking
Mhm.
about in the PMP. Like we have some project charters. You can see that. So we have talking about some project charters.
Mhm.
What is the project planning thing is all about here. Okay, so that is the
Mhm.
things we will going talking about here, and then difference on different type usage is all about. So this is what you can do. You just going to be download this Node plus, and after that I'm gonna sending you this particular file. Okay, this is the file I'm gonna
Okay.
sending to you. So once you to opening it into your
Mhm.
portal, okay, once you Node plus, the whole things will be coming same
Mhm.
time. So you're going to be
Okay.
import
Mhm.
all those things. I would say that into the same. That's
Mhm.
very easy for you to doing it,
Right.
right? So that's really helpful to you. I would say that's really I think helpful to
Yeah,
you
that
to moving further.
correct. Yeah.
Okay, so that is what I'm talking about here. I'm just going to starting recording things first, and then we can proceeding it. Okay, so we are just talking lots of things about the project initiate things. We have project charters things we have discussed about. Okay, so let's get going on the first topics which you're talking about. So the project planning right now. Sir, we just want to doing some project planning. Okay, we just scope definition, schedule management, cost management. So you have quality management, resource management,
Mhm.
combination management. So we have all those phases will be going on. So we can going to be clear at least two things today, so that your things will be going further. I would say that. So directing and managing project work, monitoring and controlling projects, performing. This is closing the project. This is very basic things we're talking about here. Okay, so so right now today we're talking about some project scope management is the planning. Okay, like project planning we're talking about today is all about. So what do you mean by the project planning is all about? Project scope management is all about anything. You is just going to let me know, sir. That is the project planning is all about. What do you know about
Okay.
the project
So,
planning is all about? The scope management we're talking right now is all about. That's the things we discuss right
mhm.
now.
So if I start from the initial phase, I think once we have the project charter ready, right? We know all the stakeholders, timelines, milestones, and all the risk factors and cost factors. After that, this project planning stage starts, as per my understanding. And in project planning, I think basically we cover all the task and list of activities which needs to be delivered into the entire project, along with the start date and end date and all the timelines and the milestones. Am I correct?
Yeah,
How we
your
going to
fast
deliver the
is
project
correct. I would
basically?
say.
How
Yeah,
we will
so
be going to deliver the project? That is the main
yes, perfectly.
objective.
So thing is right now we are talking right now. So this is what the topic is today is project scope management, right? So project scope. What is the scope management of I'm talking about here? So first of all, define the project scope. Okay, like if you don't have the scope definition, then you are struggling to doing it, fulfill the requirement of the customer, right? So I would say that here that hey, do you have the define the project scope first of all? So there's the first phase, like the step number one. I would say that
Mhm.
define the project scope. So what is the use case? So first of all, you clearly define the project scope, including what is included and what is excluded into the project, right? and this should be documented in the project scope statement, which serves as a reference point throughout the project. Okay, so suppose you are going to migrating to Office 365 into the cloud portal. Okay, and your management will say, hey, you are going to do some auditing as well. So do you think the auditing is the scope of your uh, work? No, sir, it's not my scope, my dear. I'm a technical specialist, and if you're talking about some auditing point of view, I don't have any idea about how to do audit on the same layer. Okay. And suppose the compliance point of view, the regulations point of view, the laws point of view. Okay. So this is out of scope, my dear. So the thing is mostly, Gaurav, you can say that once you go to connecting your client, okay, on meetings, okay, and the client will ask you so many different type of things. I would say that, hey, this is we need want, this is the things we want, like uh, developing a website. Like, okay, so the overall project is going to be delivering the website, or you can say the applications to the company. Okay, this client, and they will going to ask you, hey, Gaurav, we want that you should be create, develop the website, testing the website, platform setup for the website. We're going to DevOps integrations with the website. Okay, and any bugs, anything will be happening. It operations issues, you need to be rectify all those things. So do you think that all those things in your areas of going to be coming? So it is out of scope, my dear. Sometimes, okay, yes, you are technical specialist. You can help to the operations part, right? But you cannot do the other things as well. Or suppose, Gaurav, you are working as a IT auditor in the company, okay? Like your company is doing IT audits, but they will say that, hey, you need to be technical configure. If you find anything issues on the particular cloud, firewall, anything, then you need to be configure the firewall. Do you think it's my scope areas? Not, it is not my scope of area. I am only for the IT auditing person, and I need to find out the non-compliance things and write down into my notebook. That's it. That's my job is all about. So sometimes, if these things are not clearly defined on the project, that big issues will be happening in the future. But client expectation is different, and your expectation is different, and all those things are not defined clearly, right? So you can say, I'm just going to give you some examples, my dear. Wait a second. Uh, wait a second. So you think that we have some client responsibility, which is the client responsibility and which is the responsibility of the, I would say, cloud vendor. I'm gonna showing it. Wait a second. So, sir, what is my accountability? What is my responsibility? What's my client responsibility? What I'm going to doing it? Suppose I'm talking about here one thing, right? So you can say this is the Google, and I would say IS S S SaaS. Okay, we have three different platforms. If you are a cloud professional person, okay, like infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service, right? That's a three different modules, I would say that, right? Into the cloud, I would say that. So the thing is to understand here for your point of view, dear, uh, this is okay. Like you can say PKSA as a service. You can see that right now. Wait a second. It's this one. It's this one. So you can say this, you are working an on-site person. You are going to doing application data runtime, every middleware, OS, virtualization, server, storage, networking. You're going to manage each and everything, my dear. Okay, you cannot deny. But if you are working on IS platform, infrastructure as a service platform, platform as a service platform, and software as a service platform, then your responsibility, accountability is you manage only OS, middleware, runtime, data applications. Other that one, that things you can see that it is managed by the service provider manages. Okay, so there is the agreement will be happen. Okay, this agreement will be there. Who is accountable for what, right? Who is responsible for what things? You think NDA? non-disclosure
Mm.
agreement will be signed off.
Disclosure agreement.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So in the non-disclosure
Mm-hmm.
agreement, I would say that you should always doing with the client, I would say that, so that you have clearly defined your goals. What is my accountable responsibilities and what is accountable responsibility by the cloud vendor, right? So that is the things I'm
Okay.
talking about here. That is very, very important. The scope definition is really important so that you should know, hey, what's my scope of work of doing it, and what's sort of scope of doing by this client, I would say that. So that is clearly defined on the project. Simple. I think
Okay.
you understand is the thing.
But
And
one question I have, Mahesh, when we say NDA, right? You said NDA. We need to sign an NDA with the vendor. So NDA is basically, is it a detailed document which comprises of all the, I would say, particular stages or whatever is to be delivered, or it is only about data or information transfer?
no, it's the NDA is non-disclosure agreement. It is, we can
Mhm.
mention the details about the accountability responsibilities is all about. Suppose Gaurav, you are doing a audit
Okay.
for my company, right? So I would say, hey, you are
Mhm.
appointed as a IT auditor in my company. So you are not liable
Okay.
to share information outside of the world. Suppose you are going to be providing information to
Mhm.
outside, compromise information outside, then you are basically
Mhm.
not break the NDA, and your legal proceeding will be happening
Mhm.
it, right? So that is one thing. Terms and conditions will be mentioned on the
Mhm.
same. Terms condition can be anything, dear.
Mhm.
Okay, as per the you agreed,
Okay.
as per the client will be agreed. Those terms conditions
Mhm.
I'm talking about here,
Mhm.
right? Some of the terms conditions you are agree. Okay, hey, I'm just agree with the same, and some of terms condition which client is not agree with the same,
Mhm.
dear, right? So you are on the same page. Your transparency
Mhm.
will be most important, I would say that, in the project definition, project scope definition, I would say
Mhm.
that.
Okay. And at what particular stage we get the NDA signed?
That's the first stage. This is project initiative. You have done it. Then second stage is project planning. So
Mhm.
right now we are talking about all those things, project planning, my dear.
Okay.
That's the part of project planning.
Okay. So I have one situation actually which I'm working on right now. There is a we are actually at the client place. We are in the process of evaluating a new security DLP solution tool, right? So am I audible, Mahesh?
Yes, yes, please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. So so basically, I'm taking care of that project also. So we have started doing POC with couple of the vendors. Let's say ForcePoint, Netscope, right? And GTB is one
Yeah.
of the vendor. So do we
Yeah.
have to, from a client perspective, do I have to get the NDA signed with the vendor at the POC stage, or it has to be signed once we finalize the vendor? That is a
Dear,
little
the
confusion I'm
NDA
having.
will be signed off once you have finalized, you have POC has been done, and you are ready for the payment. Okay.
Mhm.
So that is the first stage. You have already gone through. POC has been done, right? And you are agree with the terms condition of the vendor, and
Mhm.
the vendor is agree with the terms conditions with the same idea. So you are going to doing it same time. So the first stage is basically find out the
Mhm.
specific vendor. Okay, shortlisted the perfect vendor,
Mhm.
doing the POC of the vendor,
Mhm.
and once you have
Mhm.
shortlisted the vendors
Mhm.
and everything is finalized, the costing parameters, scope definition point of view, everything have has been agreed on the same year, and after that you going to be doing the I think NDA. That's the same things you can doing it.
But I don't know then why my reporting boss, a security person, he is asking me to get the NDA signed at the POC stage itself. In fact, I have release the email to the vendor before he initiated the POC, and it is just a 2 3 pager document. So as we started this conversation, so I just sort of clarifying this doubt. So
That is
and I've
I
been
would
sending it to the vendors before the POC.
as per this is the NDA is basically, if anything, the information, like suppose Gaurav, I would say that Mahesh, we are a security, or we have working in Deloitte or ENY, or we have some very sensitive information is all about, right? That is impacting your
Okay.
company business. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
after POC is not possible. So before POC, you can go to doing it. That is the right choice. As per the
Okay.
criticality of the data, as per
Correct.
you can see if any
Mm-hmm.
disclosure information will be there. So yes, that's the right choice. You do some POC, or you going to do NDA sign before you can jump to the POCs as well. Because once you're going to be, I would say, you are POC has been doing it, so you most probably your informations, okay, it'll be moving to the DLP solution, right? Okay, so it may be possible that vendors have specific accessibilities, like TPRM, third party risk management will be happening it. So before you go to doing it, I would say that yeah, you can do NDA. So there is no specific timelines, there is no specific terms conditions, there is no specific steps to doing it before POC or after POC. It depends on the client and the receiver, okay, the provider. I would say that where we gonna doing it. If suppose you think that hey, it's very important, we cannot share anything informations before the NDA will be there. So yes, you can just go to doing it. Different company, different perspective. I would say that.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so this is NDA will be there. You do terms and conditions. Mutual NDA will be there. Okay, how long can NDA lab cost will be there? This is all those different type of master service agreement, LOL, letter of agreement, and statement of work, SOW. So yes, we have different type of agreements, different type of terms condition pages. So yes, you can just go to VC once you have free time will be there. But it is only just the things that you are both are agreed to doing it, right? Client and the client receiver of the same, they are agreed with both the terms conditions. I would say that. So that is, we have some basic non-disclosure agreement. NDA will be there. So if you're going to be download this NDA PDF, and then you just going to know, hey, how it looks like. Party, disclosing party, party receiving party informations, mailing information receiving party, you can see that, and then define the definition, credential informations, exclusion, so much obligations, receiving party, time periods, relationships, security, integration, wherever. Okay, you can just write up everything. Disclosing party, signatures, receiving party, signatures, printed name, all those things will be there. So that's the simple things. This is the simple, I would say, document which is gonna help you out your company to make it more easier to doing it. I would say that. Perfect. So
Right.
this is agreement by type. Okay, this is a DSA. We have secret things. We have some NDA violations. If you're going to doing it, then company doing it. What are the different type of issues can be happening? It of NDA is all about. Send notice acquired. Okay, so basically it is all about you are going to be doing some liable for the NDAs, non-disclosure agreement with the same. I would say that. So yeah, you can just take a look. That's very simple things. So every company have different type of agreements, things you can say. Standard template, NDA types, and NDA samples, glossary. You can see that types of NDA, basic standards, business sale NDA, financial NDA, okay, employee NDA, customer list NDA. So it can be anything, different types of non-disclosure agreement, and that is, I would say, it is all about. We have the document will be there, so you can just trying it there. I'm sending on your WhatsApp, so you can just take a look as well. I would say that later on. Like that is all about. What is included, what is excluded. Okay, that's very important. So this is include or this is exclude. Which things we going to include,
Correct.
which
That's
things we
fine.
okay, this is exclude on the same. I think it's visible to you.
Yes.
Okay, so basically it's a I'd say it is a document, is like a reference point. Okay, hey, sub, like you are I we also done the agreement with a contractor some time back. We have uh, create a building at my place. Okay, so we have doing a contractual agreement with the contractor, right? Hey, how much the terms condition of the payment, right? If you're going to doing the, you know what, first floor you have complete, that is the money. Second floor you complete, that's the money.
Okay.
If you're going to complete the flooring area, that's the money. And if you're going to complete whitewash of the house, that's the money. Okay, so we have step one, step two, step three. This is different types of steps we discuss about. Next second point, work background structure, right? And then we're going to provide the money, we're going to provide resources, we're going to provide some use cases as per the time, I would say that. Okay, so that's like a specific document, you can say. It's going to using for reference, right? And it's say which things we include, which things we exclude in a project. That simple thing is all about. Okay, so I think you are able to understand. Okay, the step number two, Mr.
Yes.
Bhavan, Gaurav. Step number two, hey Mahesh, what is the create we're going to define the scope management. But suppose we have lots of activities, okay, of the project, I would say that. So how do you know that all those different type of work you're going to doing it, different type of things you're doing it? Suppose the example, like you're going to do POC of any vendor. So
Mhm.
what are the steps you're going to doing
Mhm.
it? Which things, which activities you're doing it? So the thing is, you should going to doing create a work down structure. That is very simple things, I would say that. So what does it mean?
Mhm.
Do you know something about how to doing a work breakdown structure? We're gonna doing it in simple words in WBS. You can say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything you know about it? Let me know.
Work breakdown structure is like we can say let's say there is a corporate Wi-Fi rollout which is going right now. So in that we have three four things which we have to follow. Like initially we have to get the site survey done from the vendor. Then there has to be a commercial approval on the quotation which they provide. So that is a work breakdown. So we set a timeline for that particular task. Then comes out to be the kickoff meeting, right? Then if we go one level down, then comes the procurement part, then installation of the devices, configurations when it is approved. So this is how it goes, like work breakdown structure.
Yes, yes, you're rightly said. But I would say that you are going to be doing the things. That's fantastic things. But you're going to break down your all those things. The whole task you are going to doing some breakdown, my dear. Okay, so that you know that, hey,
Mhm.
after these things, what the next things, after the things, what is next things, right? So suppose example,
Mhm.
if you're talking about
Mhm.
Mahesh, give me some examples so that I can going to be understand I would say that. So the example like Mahesh, right, we are doing PMP things, right? So we have, you can see we have lots of uh, syllabus will be, you can see here right now, syllabus will be there. So I just going to be WBS, I have done it, right? So WBS, where what I'm going doing it just because of lots of, we have schedule management, we have project cost management, quality management, resource management, lots of things I have breakdown into the parts so that I can easily demonstrate to you how the things will be going to doing it. I would say that. Okay. So whole things, the whole PMP things. break down into the different small piece of parts, so that you are easily understand. Hey Mahesh, right now project initiate the first phase, the project planning is the second phase, and right now Mahesh we are talking project planning, and the project planning right now we are doing the things right now is project scope definition is all about. So right now we have the, like you can say, sorry, it's the number one thing we discuss, and that's the second one we're talking about right now, and that is the project schedule management. It comes the third point, I would say that. So we have very very systematic way of doing it. I know that hey, after scope management, I need to go plus planning scope management. Then I go to collecting requirements. I go to define the scope, creating work breakdown structure, validating the scope, contouring the scope. We discuss about all those things into the same. So it's very very systematic way. We know that what the scope areas, how do we defining all those things, how do we gonna execute things like that. So that's the things we're talking about right now. Okay. So work breakdown structure, I would say that. So develop a WBS like background structure. I would say that breaks down the project deliverables into smaller, more manageable components. Easy, and that is the hierarchical decompositions helps in organizing and understanding the scope of work required to for the project. So it's very simple words. I would say, Mr. Gaurav, that develop a WBS background structure. I would say that that breaks down the project deliverables you can see, I think spelling mistake will be there, please pardon me, into
No hurries, no worries.
smaller and smaller, or I can say it's both manageable, I would say that. Okay, that's simple matters components. Component, that's simple things, only to complexity, I would say that. So I just want to be, we have lots of stuff work, I couldn't say that. So I have uh, doing
Mm,
WBS, break down the whole project in a smaller chunks, smaller piece of the same, so that you can just go to doing step by step. Okay, so it's very systematic way of doing it, and easy to understand. Suppose I will going to give you a task like, hey, Gaurav, could you please tell me how to migrate the cloud, like Office 365 into the cloud area, and suppose on premises to the cloud.
mhm,
How do you going to doing the
mhm,
IT auditing? So IT auditing is a lots of things, I can say that. But suppose I would say, hey,
mhm,
ISO 27000, you are going to do some auditing. Or suppose I would say, Gaurav, you can going to doing it SOC to type to audit, I would say that. So Mahesh, it's a big things. So
mhm,
I going to be doing step by step, functionality, integrity, availability, and I would like to check it out in the company. What are different type of risk in the companies, right? So all those things you are going to be see.
mhm,
Then you're going to be doing some technical work, and then you're going to creating a report. Okay, so that's whole stories, I would say that.
mhm,
Okay,
mhm.
the second things you know that. Okay, perfectly. The third thing is Mahesh, I
I
would
think
say,
this is the challenge which I'm facing.
yeah, it is everyone is this, I would say that, in the project planning everything's. So this is the things will be happening it. So yes, I will going to really help it out on your project as well. Don't worry, give you some more realistic examples
Now
so
you
that you
correctly
easy
said.
answer. Yes,
I
please.
think you use that word now, like how we create the story. So this story is something which I'm facing a challenge right now
Yes.
because I cannot. I have the project which are going on right now will be initiated in the other laptop, which is the client. Right. I cannot share it. But yeah, recently I'm so much bombarded in this last week with a list of around 150 projects, and out of which I think around 10 to 15 projects will be starting, or they are already in the initial phase. And my I don't know how to actually properly organize the story and create a project plan for all those, because uh, as I'm not good at technical part, but let's say there is one project which is related to Wi-Fi rollout in the corporate office. There is one
Mhm.
email which I already explained you, right? Going to cloud. There will be servers which will be going to cloud. There are cybersecurity projects, right? And there are certain applications which are being rolled out in the hotel. So there are like so many projects. I don't know what approach I should follow. And I have four tower leads, or you can say four application heads with whom I have to work with. But I don't know what should be my approach as a project manager to reach out to them to create a project plan and project charter. And that is the main problem I'm facing at client.
Mhm.
I don't know whether you'll be able to help me out on this or not.
Yeah, that's really realistic problem. I would say that. The first thing is, Gaurav, I would suggest
So,
you that
mm,
as much as you can going to gather the informations about your project. First thing is very important. Okay.
mm,
And second, the thing is right now, I would
mm,
say that you have some scope definition. Right now, we are doing scope management, right? So the second step you're going to
mhm,
doing it, scope definition is all about. Okay, right? Hey, which is in our scope, which is not in our scope. First of all, you should know that. Okay. And the third thing, I would say
mhm,
that suppose you understand which is in your scope, and then you need to doing some work breakdown structure right now we're talking about here. Okay. That suppose you're going to doing it, you don't have any technical things, no problem. But you can just execute, hey, the first step, the second step, the third step, the fourth step. At least you're just going to be write down all those steps into the Word document anywhere, and then you can just connect with your manager. You're going to schedule a meeting, and then conversation is most important, I would say that. Okay, so you should set up
mhm,
a agenda
mhm,
with your senior management, I would say that. And then whatever you think about
mhm,
this project, your scope definitions, background structure, and about how to initiate the project is all about. The project planning you're thinking is all about. So let's clear your idea first of
mhm,
all in your mind. Okay. However, you are not
mhm,
technical expertise, but yes, you have some very good knowledge about the project handling is all about. As per your experience, I would say that.
mhm,
So all those ideas will be on
mhm,
the paper. Connect to your top management. Discuss
mhm,
about step by step things. I would say
mhm,
that like project charters, business case, like scope definitions, project planning things is all about. What their ideas. So they will going to make you correct some because I would say that once you are going to selling the ideas, sometimes you can see that hey, I am not perfect, but yes, they will guide you. Hey,
mhm,
that is not we are doing it. This is we are doing it. So you can make a changes on the same. So initial phase is going to gathering more and more informations from your sources. Create a project planning things is all about. Create the
mhm,
scope definitions. Doing some breakdown structure things, and then sending to management. I would say that. Okay, who are going to be help you out into the same and discuss and then make some changes in your project. That's the simple keys about how you can execute the things.
mhm.
Okay, the third step I would say identify stakeholders. Okay, so it is, I would say, your company it should be, I would say, whether it is a government, it's a private sector, it's a government private sector. So different company, different type of okay employees, everything is, I would say that. So I would suggest here that hey, suppose you're working in a government company where the government and I would say it's a private sector, both are included. I would say that. So you need to identify all stakeholders involved into the project. right? Suppose you're talking about your senior project managers who are working, who's investing the money into your project, okay, and determine their expectations regarding the project scope. So that's what you're facing right now, issues, I would say that, Gaurav, that Mahesh, I know that best I'm going to don't know what to do, how to proceed same times. So expectations are understanding the project management point of view, and understanding stakeholders' requirements and managing their expectations is essential for the successful scope management. Because after all, they are investing money into into your project, and they are going to be approving your budget or whatever, right? So you should always, I would say that, identify stakeholders, who are the stakeholders, and what is the expectations is all about.
Mhm.
That's simple things. Okay. Number four things. So define base. Define. I can say define scope baseline is nothing. It's nothing is all about establish scope baseline is that includes an the approved project scope statement WBS. WBS dictionaries. Baseline serves as a reference point for measuring and controlling changes to the project scope. Like you are going to be sharing your ideas, everything on the company's point of view. So you are going to, hey, which things you're going to approving it, which is not going to be approving it, what type of uh, data you're going to be, what type of things activities you're going to doing it. So it's a reference point. It's like a, I would say document. I would say create a
Mhm.
document. Okay, wait a second. Okay, create a document. I would say that's simple. And in this document, I would say that WBS, blend of structure, okay, or project approval, which things you want approval on the same layer. So it's basically providing how do you measuring the things, and I would say controlling and changes made in the project. Like, so we have some scope baseline areas. Sir, I if like I going to be migrate to the cloud. So I required the license key. Okay, I required license. So who is going to approving the license, and what is the costing of the license, and how do you measuring your success? Okay, area, like you have milestone, everything I'm talking about here. Okay, and how do you controlling your project is all about. So that's basic things you should be included into the scope baseline area. I would say that in this document.
Mhm.
Then step five, I would say that very simple. This is not complicated things. I would say that, but yes, develop scope management plan. So what do you mean by is all about? So create a scope management plan that outlines how scope will be defined, validated, and controlled and managed throughout the project lifecycle. Like it's like a document you want to create. So in this scope, I have this five activities I need to doing it, right? So I would say, hey, how do you define all those five activities? How do you validate all those activities? Is doing it, not doing it? Who's going to doing it? What to doing it? What time doing it? How do you controlling all those activities? And how do you manage all those activities throughout the life cycle of the project? Okay, so that is very very important thing that, hey, I have a scope management plan, and in this scope we have some 6 or 10 activities. Suppose I would say that, like you're going to migrating the cloud. First of all, I need to check it out how
Mhm.
much data in the company. Okay, Or suppose I'm talking simply talking
Mm,
about DLP solution, right? So if you're going to doing the POC of the DLP solution, right? So I would say, hey, Gaurav, what
mhm,
are the five key must features should be into the DLP solution, which is the scope in
mm,
your company, right? What are the
mm,
must have five features name of your project, which is DLP you're going to procuring from the company, that should be there. Okay, which tell me at least three or four features of the DLP, which is you don't require actually, but yes, if you're going to getting it, that's fine. And could you please tell me if
mm.
once you're going to DLP, you're going to POC will be there, what are the top five vendors you have evaluated on what type of POC uh, technicalities as well as the compliance point of view? As per the company compliance,
Mm,
what is your scope of area? Sir, my company is saying, hey, we have some data, internal data will be there, right? So if the employee is going to be sending the data to outside of the world, we find out who is going to doing it, first thing. And we have some, have you categorized the data like private data, public data? We have some sensitive data. Have you categorized all those data? Things is all about. And once you categorize all those data, and then you providing the labeling on the DLP solution, right? So I am a technical specialist. I know that how DLP is going to working. What are the use cases requirement? So at least you have some basic fundamental knowledge about GLP solution. That would be fine. How to integrate, how to implement, how to migrate DLP. That's the things I'm talking about here. And what are the different five company names of the DLP solution? And what are the key five features of the DLP solution? That is your scope of area, my dear. So that is what I'm
mm.
talking about here. What are the scope area defined? How do you validate it? How do you controlling? How do you manage throughout the life cycle? That's what I'm talking about here. So the scope management plan should include processes for handling scope changes, as well as roles and responsibilities of the project team members involved in the scope management. I would say that. So it's very simple, sir. We have 10 resources working in in my company on the DLP solution. How do I manage? How do I control? How do I validate all those 10 resources in the company, which is working in my project, right? So that is what about the scope management planning is all about. So you can simply, I would say, key things I'm going to be writing into the same, sir. Project defined, validated, or controlled, and managed throughout throughout the project life. Yes, I got it. So the thing is, Gaurav, I would say that the PMP is comes. It's not like definition. It's not about that you're going to be learning the things. It's about the frame of mind. What is the right way of thinking? What is the right way of approach? Your approach should be changing after that. That's about the PMP things you're doing it as a project manager is all about. Okay. The six things are established. You can say change control procedures. Okay. So I am basically working for the past 20 years in the industries. So I'm just going to doing all those things step by step. Sir Mahesh, what is the basic things about the scope definition is all about? So yes, suppose Mahesh, any changes will be happening it. So first of all, you should understand the change management. I would say that. It's a very simple things. I would say that change management, how the change management things gonna working. right? So, sir, implement a formalized change control process, evaluate and approve or reject proposed changes to the project scope. So, sir, process should be include documentation, impact analysis, approve, well workflows, and I would say most probably evaluated, integrate into the project scope is approved. So, change management is very very important to understand. And version controlling. Could you please tell me what is a version controlling, my dear?
Version controlling is, I would say, if there is upgradation or an enhancement in a tool or an application, so that has to be monitored time to time. Or if a product is getting to reaching out to end of life, or if version needs to be upgraded or some patching needs to be done, so there has to be a particular weekly, monthly, or quarterly schedule for these activities. So the control for this particular task has to be defined, right?
Yes.
That is done by change control procedure, change management.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Basically, so what I'm talking right now here that have you ever worked on the, I would say, DevOps environment? Have you worked on the DevOps or not?
No, not. But yes, change control. If I say in my last engagement, I was as a PMO, I was part of the change management CAP board meetings. I
Mhm.
was not an active person in that. I was a silent listener, but I could visualize like how it goes and how it should be structured, the thoughts, and
Okay,
how it
okay,
works in
okay.
the project life cycle. Like I don't have in-depth understanding, to be honest, but yeah, I just know right now that it plays a very crucial role. It is a backbone, I would say. If this is
Hmm.
implemented in an organization, I think everything is streamlined.
Yes, yes. So what happened? I will tell you the story of my previous companies because it's all about the experience, my dear.
Mm,
Is I would say that like version controlling, change management.
mm,
So first of all, sir,
mm,
which is coming from where? Okay, what the hell with this man? Is coming from where? Okay, so I would say, hey, Gaurav, you're just going to go ITIL version 4. I have passed out
mm,
2010 ITL version 4. This was long back, it's about 14 years old. Certifications, version 3 was there that time, but right now version 4 is there. So it's so okay. So it was just talking about it's like a framework, my dear. First of all, okay, wait a
right.
second, framework, okay, and it is
I
talking
think
about
I
some
need to
best
do this also.
practices.
This is one of the basic things.
Yes, dear, yes, dear.
Yeah.
It's the best practices you following it. So the question right now, Mahesh, is change management. Like it's not about change management, but in this project management, what is the importance of change management? Suppose you have a 10 number of people in your team, and somebody in the night time makes some changes, and in the morning there's a huge problem. Okay, like
Yep.
the client is hey, lots of bugs will be coming. What the hell with this man? What's the project manager is going on? What to do at the same time? There's lots of problems happening. It's in the project due to the changes. Who has make changes? Who's approved the changes? How to roll back the changes? What was the
Mm,
consequences of the changes, dear? So it's lots of troubles. There's
mhm,
lots of troubles everywhere. Who is responsible, accountable? At
mm.
the end, the project manager is responsible, accountable same time. Hey,
Correct.
don't
Correct.
have any change management procedures. How do you roll back planning it? And
Mm,
if any problem is like we have some suffered this project delayed at least 1 or 2 days, 3 days, just because of you have not correctly planning all those things is all about. So yes, huge problems can be happening. So that the change management is most important because who is going to make change. So I will just going to help you out to understand more further things. Wait a second.
mm,
Go to the smart sheet again, and we have change management template will be there. Change management policy template, whatever you can say that. Okay, that's you're going to find out everywhere. So what is the purpose? What is the scope of the change? Who's going to roll back? What are the assets? Yeah, it's every company have different type of change management procedures, I would say that. But yes, at least you should have basic fundamental knowledge about the change management, and you can going to see some companies change management procedures as well if you find out, man. So it's already I have downloaded, so you can just download change management things, and that is going to be downloaded. Same very simple things. So it's very you should I have some basic fundamental knowledge about the things. That's fine, man. It's you have doing it. That's good to go, man. So every MNC's company, suppose you're working in any MNC's company, they have following the change management things. But in the small companies, the medium-sized companies, they're always struggling, my dear. Why? Just because of
Yes, actually, the client for which I'm working, they are still having a legacy mindset. So they
yes,
have a policy of 2 3 pager document, but they don't want to follow cab
mm,
because they work in isolations.
yes, yes. It is
And
the problem for every majorly companies. I would say that's right. It
it's
is can be
about like
happening.
ownership. Yeah, it's all about accountability and ownership.
Yes. So this is the document that is it's very simple templates. I would say that. So what is the purpose of change? Background, scope definition, stakeholders, impact, communications, teams, existing positions, new position, timelines. You can just want to see this cost analysis, development costing is all about. So you can see lots of operational cost will be there. So lots of different type of things. You can say that it's going to maintaining it, process management. So it's like a policies will be there. Like it is talking about here, like I would say, wait a second, I'm just pasting for you. Oh my God, it's huge thing. No problem. Okay, so we just talking about some ITL best practices is about. So yes, you can right now this is the policies point of view here, but in technical points are this is what the hell. I'm not happy with this type of all those documentation. This is bullshit, man. I don't want to go into the same. Is there any uh, applications where all those things will be there, my dear? Yes. So I'm just going to showing to you something better. So yes, policy is important, dear. Okay, policy is administrative controls. But if you're talking about, sir, do you think that we need to going write down all those things all the time and wasting our time, wasting our efforts on the same, dear? No need to go for, man. I will come to showing to you something better. Service now. So if you're working in an MNC company and you are running service now perfectly,
Snow tools,
management,
right?
service now.
Okay.
That is the service now is all about. Download book is looks like that. So change management service now. You can see that. Go here. Like faster changes, increase deployment. So it's very systematic way of doing it. Things is already okay into the into the product.
Mhm.
Like suppose you integrate service now in a company. Hey, talking about your management. Hey, a manager. I we going to go to service now. We have some change management is already into the same, and we're going to get all those things into the service now. Change management is all about. So it's my company managing it, your company managing it, and it's huge things is all about. Lots of differences are about. So, Gaurav, what happened generally in, I would say, in practical life? Suppose you have 1 lakh, 2 lakh users, employees, more than 50,000 users. You have 10 or 20 branches.
Mhm.
How do you know what, evaluate the changes? How do you controlling all those changes? How do you managing the changes is all about? It's not an easy task. Okay. So the
Correct.
service now is the software which is going to make easier. It's a step-by-step process, I would say that, right? Who's making changes, rollback plan, who's working, which team is going to be assigned task. So every detail is going to showing it, my dear. Risk management, change approval policies, change success score, multi-deal change. So we have lots of different type of changes. I can say that it's amazing software. I would say that my company using it, your company gonna using it. That's for different testing, my dear. So this is one thing you're gonna show into the same. Yeah, it is costly. I would say that, but it's good for the companies, MNCs companies using it. Sir, we don't have any budget like that. Do not worry about it. I have a solution for you. So Jira and Confluence. If you don't have too much budget like service now,
Yeah.
go to Confluence and Jira. So it's the one of the greatest company. It is from I think Australia. Australia is oriented this company, right? And then that is the fantastic things I have worked some time ago with the same data requirement, metadata confluence, create multiple Jira issues, contemplates, link, listing Jira issues, whatever issues will be there. So you can say create, upload Jira issues, stories, field supported, etc., schemas, and all those you can to create some Jira. Okay, locate Jira is all about. So I would suggest you once you want to go into the same, see this Jira Confluence as well. Okay, that is fantastic software to go into using it. USD 1200 per year for 500 number of users. You can see it's less costing, it's more effective, efficient of doing it, my dear. Okay, so you just going to see this one. So these are the software which I'm talking about here. It is available many companies.
Mhm.
Deliver fast and seamless collaborations is all about. Get it free, okay? You can see that. Features, resources, stories, whatever. Look fast. So this is one of the best tools for the project management. If you're doing it, go and try this one. Get some evaluations. I would this product. Okay, free account will be there. It's free up to 10 users. I can say that.
Mhm.
So what you can do, just Jira Confluence, create accounts, check it out. If you want to get some portal access, and same thing is gonna using for the Jira Confluence as well. Okay, you're going to getting some and just going to do some practice, little bit of practice. Okay, so that you're aware about what the things is gonna working inside the software. I would say that it's not technical part. It's more about administration part. Is how do you controlling, how do you managing it. That's what I'm talking about here.
I have a hang of it actually. I have worked in one of the project also on Jira. Not much, but yeah, I know how.
Yeah, yeah, you can just because in project management is all about how do you do doing things. So it's creating your Confluence site. I can say that for 10 users, couple of days. That's pretty fantastic. Good to go, man. Okay. Okay. The step number 7, I would say that. So once you have to go to do some change, manage everything, monitor and control. Sorry, scope. Sir, I have just going to be change manager. Everything's not doing it. So I'm going just going to doing it continuously monitor control of the project life cycle. How do you controlling? How do you managing of your project? Like you're going to be involved comparing actual project performance against the scope baseline. Okay, identify variances, taking corrective actions need to be stopped and ensure the project is starts doing it. Okay, so you just simply you just going to do gap analysis, doing it, and simply you can say, sir, where we right now and what is desired state we will reach within timelines. That is all about. Okay. And step number 8 is nothing, but it is all about, I would say, communication scope changes. Right, sir. So the thing is here, hey, how do you communicate? Okay. How do you communicate to your stakeholders? How do you communicate to your managers? Any changes? Effective communication helps manage stakeholder expectations, ensure alignment between objectives, I would say that. So that's simple things. I would say that, hey, Mahesh, we have just make some communications channels always be open, right? Any changes in project, my dear? The communications in efficient way. That's what the requirement, my dear. You're going to doing it. That's what the requirement is all about. Hey, what was the reason for change? Reason for change. Who was changed? Who was changed this? What is the impact? Yeah, the impact once change is done, right? So yes, Mahesh, we have just lots of things we are talking about right now. If I'm talking about some changes, definitions. So effective communications is the key to success, my dear. That's simple. If you are saying, Mahesh, we have just, if you're not talking about not effective communication, dear, do you think that your scope is, your project is working? It's delete. It's nothing going to work, my dear. So effective and efficient communications is the key to success of the project. On time. Okay, the time frame is important, I would say that. On time, on target. That's simple. Okay, so that's the scope definition is all about. I would say that. That's just, you can say define scope, controlling, okay, validating WBS things, validating scope, controlling scope. So all other things are covered into the same layer. I'm gonna sending to you on the chat box as well.
So in a nutshell, can we say that this is one of a component which is part of a project charter?
Which one? Which one?
Because when we create a project charter,
Uh-huh.
then we have to include few of these things as well there, right? Am I correct?
Yeah, small piece. You just getting information,
Summary of,
summaries.
yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So whatever things we study, right? Only the summaries you have to mention.
Mhm.
Okay, nothing is doing it, but yes, summary is very important here. If you have summary will be there, then you can easily understand. I would say that. Okay, because you can say, hey, in the summary, project charters, you just want to suppose you come to me, hey Mahesh, I have a project. Okay, and I would like to, hey Gaurav, please tell me what a scope management is all about your project. Could you please tell me what is the schedule management? How which timelines you mapping it? Could you please tell me what the cost management is all about, my dear? So that are huge things you're talking about here, Mahesh. We have all those things. I would say that, right? So that's quality management. How do you going to do quality management here, right? So that's the things we discuss about tomorrow. And this is the first thing I can schedule manage. I think you should going to understand schedule management. I would say planning, like scopes definition. We had discussed today. So all those things, please make sure you have study. This is and making more comfortable, John. Read some document, anything, whatever you want. Study all those things. I would say that. That's number two we have discussed right now. Tomorrow we're going to discuss number three and number four. So I hope we're going to be connect. Your time is 6 p.m. It's fine.
Yes, right now there is no change, but yeah, I'm expecting some guests tomorrow. I hope I'm able to wrap up before 6.
Yeah, let me know once you have.
It's okay.
I would let me know once you have time. Will be there. That's fine. Okay, I will connect you on
Definitely,
the same.
Mahesh.
No
So
problem.
for this, you have shared an email of documents, right?